Since the turn of the century, there has been such a stigma around getting knocked down in boxing, and it's all because of one man. Floyd Mayweather. It's such an amazing feat that Mayweather went his entire career without losing a single fight, but is the fact that he never got knocked down really that big of a deal? Thankfully, the stigma around getting knocked down is slowly dying, and the fans are realizing just because a fighter gets knocked down once or twice does not mean they are rubbish, they're finished, they're a fraud. In fact, I can go as far as to say it can actually help improve a fighter's career. I know what you're thinking, but let me just explain for just a moment. I'll use Tyson Fury as an example. He's in the thumbnail, so I should probably use him in the video at some point. Fury has been knocked down in his career a total of 8 times. 1 time against Nevin Pikic, 1 time against Steve Cunningham, 2 times against Deontay Wilder in the first fight, 2 times again against Deontay Wilder in the third fight, 1 time against Francis Ngannou, and 1 time against Alexander Usyk. Out of all these fights, the only one that Fury's lost is the one against Alexander Usyk, but that one is a bit of an anomaly, seeing as Usyk is currently the best fighter in the world, and arguably he can make a name for himself to be the top 5 heavyweights of all time, even though he's only fought 7 fights at heavyweight. But that is a conversation for a different video. Tyson Fury has built up such a reputation on being able to recover from being knocked down. It makes the knockdowns themselves seem minor, even though they are huge shots that land. If you saw the round 9 in that first Usyk fight, you'll know how monstrous that punch actually was, irrespective of Usyk weighing 50 pounds less than him. Any punch that makes your face involuntarily do this, you know it's a big shot. When I was watching that fight live, I thought Fury was getting finished, but as soon as the bell rang to end that 9th round, I knew that danger had been averted, and when Fury gets up off his stool to start that 10th round, his entire body has essentially restarted itself. It's like a system reset. His brain is just, yep, I'm back. Usyk himself knew that as well. As soon as that 10th round started, he didn't try and jump on Fury because he knows that Fury has a track record and has shown in his previous fights that when he gets hurt, he is able to overcome this adversity. If Fury didn't have that track record of being able to perform even better after getting knocked down like he did in the 12th round in that first Wilder fight and begin showboating and finishing the round super strong, then Usyk might have decided to put it on Fury in that 10th round. And who knows, he could have stopped him. And on the flip side of that coin, you've got Anthony Joshua, who in his most recent fight against Daniel Dubois got caught by a looping overhand right at the end of the first round and was in big trouble. Now when that round ended and the 60 seconds have passed and the second round was about to start, Dubois wouldn't know for sure if Joshua was still hurt from that shot. But Dubois' team would have studied Joshua, they would have looked at the past fights and seen how he reacts when he's been hurt in the past. So although he couldn't be 100% certain, on the balance of probabilities, it was highly likely that Joshua's legs would not be feeling great and he still would have been buzzed. This is because Joshua showed in the past, in that first Andy Ruiz fight, when he got knocked down in the 3rd round, he really struggled to recover. Punches that wouldn't appear to do much damage prior to getting hurt were pinging him around the ring due to having no stability and no rigidity. This is why Daniel Dubois showed no reluctancy in sticking it on Anthony Joshua as soon as that 2nd round started, because we all know what happened after that. These two contrasting scenarios of Fury and Joshua just go to show that getting knocked down is not always a bad thing. It's the manner in which you respond to getting knocked down is where judgment can be cast. Another fighter that is a perfect example of this is Naoya Inoue. Inoue was knocked down for the first time in his career last year against Luis Neri, and it was a huge shock for the entire boxing world. When Inoue hit the canvas, it was like the entire world stopped spinning. My heart was in my mouth. But what Inoue did was show wisdom and experience well beyond his years, and he composed himself whilst on the canvas, locked eyes with the referee to show him, I'm okay. He took the 8 count and only got up when he knew his body was ready. You see it all the time when fighters get knocked down, they try and show they're not hurt by standing up as quick as possible and their legs are like jelly and they start doing the chicken dance. Insert video of Zab Judah here.
Ending strong. Down he goes. A right hand. He's in trouble. He's a real joke. It's over.
Now fast forward 12 months and Inoue gets dropped again in the 2nd round of his most recent fight against Ramon Cardenas, and it was a peach of a left hooky style overhand. and it was a big shot that Inoue walked onto, and without a doubt he was hurt. You could see it by the way his legs stiffened and he almost like sat down. But Inoue did the exact same thing he did in that Luis Neri fight. He stayed on the canvas, he composed himself, he looked the referee dead in the eyes, and he waited until the referee counted to about 6 or 7, and then he stood up. As a massive fan of Inoue, I looked at the way in which he composed himself, and my mind went straight back to that Luis Neri fight, and it reminded me of how well he responded to after getting knocked down, and it made you feel reassured that he's not in that much danger. Now, if Inoue tried to get up at the count of 2 or 3, he would have started wobbling all the way towards the referee. Now, at that point, Cardenas would have been standing in that neutral corner with his eyes fixed on Inoue, watching him like a hawk, absolutely licking his lips. I have no idea if hawks have lips, probably not. Cardenas would have noticed that Inoue seemed to have been in a similar situation as he was against Luis Neri, and he would have seen what happened to Luis Neri in that fight, and he knew as soon as the bell rang for that third round to start, that Inoue that he was fighting in that third round was going to be much better and much scarier than the one he knocked down in the round prior. And as we all know, Inoue went on to win every subsequent round and stopped Cardenas in the 8th. This goes to show that, in my opinion, for whatever it's worth, a fighter that has been knocked down and come back to win is a much more terrifying proposition than a fighter that has never been knocked down at all. I started this video mentioning Mayweather, so for the purpose of symmetry, I'll end it with Mayweather as well. Not being knocked down is not what made Mayweather one of the greatest of all time, because Floyd has been hurt more than some people that have been knocked down have. The shot that Shane Mosley landed on Mayweather in the second round of their fight shook him to his boots. Especially if you were to compare this with Ryan Garcia's flash knockdown against Rolly Romero, where it seemed to be more of a combination of lack of anticipation and lack of balance, which contributed to him being knocked down. Without a doubt, in that moment, Mayweather was in much more trouble than Garcia was. But what we have is two polarizing responses to being in danger. Mayweather boxed smartly and put on a boxing masterclass, not losing any round after that second round. Whereas with Garcia, that knockdown ruined his entire fight. After that knockdown, he was scared, he was absolutely petrified, he was gun shy, he was happy to cruise to a boring point decision loss.
Rolando Rolly Romero.
So this goes to show that getting knocked down is not the be-all and end-all of a boxer's career, and it can turn out in some cases, not many, but some, that getting knocked down makes you a much more terrifying proposition. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I'm a new YouTuber. The likes and the subscribers will mean a lot to me.